now 2:10 p.m. on April 11th, 2010 at the original New England, Randolph Music, Record Expo, Compact Disc, and now book. See, because Kay Geneviese's 2 weeks since my last confession is here. Very timely for the Vatican scandal and the pregnancy pact on TV. And the Freedom to Rock by T.L. Rotkiewicz, who came all the way up from Connecticut. T.L.
Hello.
Welcome to Visual Radio. Thank you for my lovely...
Joe.
Huh?
My pleasure, Joe.
There's Bert. Bert has been doing these events for 32 years.
Oh, wow.
Is this it's a great way to get together. You just saw Multi of the Barbarians.
Yeah.
The original, the guy who started the whole thing in Boston. They were the G Clefs, they were Freddie Cannon, but Multi's band was the first rock band. And we have him on camera, and we did an interview, but to have him here at this event, it just really gives it like the records coming to life.
Yeah.
So around all these records and around a legend like Multi, we discussed the Freedom to Rock. It's about 500 pages, correct?
Yep.
How long did it take you to write?
It took me 4 years.
When did you get the inspiration?
I've been a music fan all my life in the first place. It's evolved into something more, I should say, I want to say that I think of things a little more technically as I get older. I follow things differently instead of just the music. I like to know what goes on behind the scenes and everything that goes on like that in the recording process.
We just interviewed Tommy James of the Shondells, and he has a new book called Me, the Mob, and Music, One Hell of a Ride with Tommy James and the Shondells. It's about 220 pages, about less than half of your book, and they've already sold the movie rights.
Wow.
And in 18 months, a major motion picture will come out on Tommy's life. You have enough for like 10 years of Showtime series in here, right?
Yeah, more like mini-series.
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea for this.
Yeah.
So, the characters, did they come to you?
I actually got inspired about, now it's 11 years ago, right around Easter time. I picked up a book called Hitmen by Frederick Bannon, and that's pretty powerful, as you might know, about the music industry.
Well, it's about Dick Asher.
It's about Dick Asher, it's about Morris Levy,
I'm going to tell you a story.
Israel.
Keep the thought. Hold the thought, okay?
Yeah.
The day the Hitmen came out, or that week, I was in New York, and my attorney at the time was Alan Arrow, who's now with Shukat Arrow Hafer Weber. But at that time, he was at Arrow, Edelstein, and Laird. But it used to be Arrow Asher, Dick Asher in the book.
Yeah.
So I walk into Alan's office. Oh, look what I just bought. He goes, I just sent out for that. Because it was his business partner, Dick Asher, the president of Columbia Records, or was he the president of, he was the president of Polygram when Dick actually called the house once, because I managed Jimmy Miller, the Rolling Stones producer.
Oh, wow.
And Jimmy introduced me to Alan Arrow, because Alan handled the Rolling Stones, he handled Jimmy Miller. That's how I met Alan Arrow in '86. Right, but Dick Asher was at Columbia, and the whole book starts that the radio stations wouldn't play Pink Floyd in California. So it's Dick Asher didn't know, that's how Frederick Bannon opened the book. But that's my funny story. My lawyer was the business partner of the guy in the book, The Hitmen, and I'm in his office with the book, so wow, that book inspired you.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is,
who knew?
No. I do have to admit that before I even started writing my book, or any books in general, I had wanted to try to take on screenplays. So I was trying to do sort of a screenplay version of Hitmen. But then I thought, it's redundant, because it's already been done, it's been done better, and by somebody who actually knows the history of music. So I decided to take a different route and create a fiction story And then there was the whole thing of trying to create characters that shared that type of spirit, but I decided not to have it so much about the record industry people, as many as they had in Dannon's book, and just decided to have like two guys. And in general, it started as a monologue from a music mogul, but I cut it out first. I cut out like the first 7 pages because it just didn't fit in the story. But that's how it started, and then away we went. And because it took 4 years, you come across different things that you didn't think of before, and it's the characters that dictate the story. So I had ideas, I had different characters, and I had to throw them out because they just didn't seem to fit. And I know a lot of people think, well, what does it matter? You're doing fiction anyways. But you have to think of them as real people that you just come across.
It's realistic and original.
It's kind of fact-based fiction, if you want to say. Because I remember when I was trying to get this done, there were some people in the book world who thought, oh, who cares what kind of reality you have in it, because it's just fiction. So I had to overcome that stereotype of thinking.
You gave me a great list of songs that are mentioned in the book.
Yeah.
4 pages. Highway Child. Where did you hear Highway Child?
I listened to a lot of classic rock stations, preferably on the computer, because
on the computer, because Highway Child is one of the rare ones.
Mainstream radio does not play even a quarter amount of what they used to. You know, it's all corporate run. So I love iTunes. I'm a Mac gal myself, but I listen to a lot of that.
So you got it from you heard that song on the web?
Yeah.
That's cool integrity about this book. It's got she references songs that are not the ordinary. Eva Destruction, of course, I met P.F. Sloan, Barry McGuire.
Yeah.
P.F. Sloan wrote it.
Fantastic song.
Yeah.
And it fits so well in the story because, as you know, one of the business partners in the story is a Vietnam veteran. So what I got out of the inspiration was that particular song was for times of protest.
Barry McGuire and Alex Chilton, late Alex Chilton, had that gravelly voice for the time, and it was perfect.
Yeah, box tops. I like to cast my characters, and I like to kind of think of music as scenes or something I can use for that. And I did that, and there's a whole bunch of them that I used. I used some Woodstock songs. It's not because it was the 40th anniversary, but because I felt that it was an important time in history for the music industry, for rock and roll itself. And my uncle actually attended Woodstock, the first one, the only one, I should say. Marty
Balin appeared at Woodstock.
Oh yes, yeah.
In Monterey and Altamont, 3 major festivals. It was interesting because the 40th anniversary of Woodstock came out, and 4 of the songs he did on the Esplanade he performed at Woodstock. So it's interesting, an important artist will keep that thing together for the fans.
Yeah.
So you've kind of written it in that spirit, keeping the whole thing together for the fans. There's plenty of romance in 30 to Rock.
Yeah, there are parts here and there. Yeah, I didn't want it to dominate though. I don't want it to be stereotypical rock and roll, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll type of moniker that always accompanies it. So I want it to be more, I don't know, substantive.
You did a good job of capturing, the stress of being in a rock band, the stress of the record label, the stress of romance and relationships, and how people get torn apart because of things beyond their control.
I did a lot of research.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah.
Stephen Davis has been a guest on this show. He's a regional guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
No.
He wrote a Bob Marley book and a Michael Jackson book. When Michael Jackson passed on, Davis and the guy, J. Randy Taraborelli, who was a biographer of Diana Ross, they were frequently on TV, and it's like, oh, wow, good, Stephen's front and center. But he has a biography of Jim Morrison. He specifically did a bio of Jim Morrison, not the Doors, because Jim Morrison, he felt, was the figure he wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
In that, he did tons and tons of research. The Aerosmith book, he told me, he was telling their story through their eyes. So
That's
it's
what
interesting.
I really like that you could understand it that way. Like everybody had their own stories to tell. You didn't get confused or anything.
But that was more him being a channel for Aerosmith,
Yeah.
as opposed to like his Jim Morrison book, where that's Stephen Davis and his observations on Morrison.
Yeah.
And it's great that a writer can do two different things,
Yeah.
and have that different voice. But interesting that you pick up on Stephen Davis and Mansion on the Hill. I always think of not as the sequel, but the successor to Hitmen. Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's the same vein of everything.
So these real life books gave you inspiration to come up with. You did a very good job. You could feel that. You really feel that it's a historical book when it's fiction.
Yeah.
And you achieved that.
I thought of stuff from my own past or things that had happened from people I knew, or even just eavesdropping on conversations from way back when that served a purpose. Somewhere deep down inside, like if you go to school, you're not going to remember everything that you were taught, but you'll be able to use some things. So that's how I did it as an author.
How is Forever by the Beach Boys referenced in the book?
Very sensitive part towards the end.
Okay, then don't give away any kind of...
No.
But it's interesting...
Video montage. I'll say that much.
Because River by Joni Mitchell, Forever by the Beach Boys, you really take... you take titles that I'm sure the artists would be very pleased that you mentioned them, because many people know Donka Shane by Wayne Newton, but some of these songs you don't hear as much.
Right.
Highway Child, for example, and others you do. Love and Happiness, Al Green, that's a good one to pick. Cold Blood, wow.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Is it?
Great.
But the artist is Tracy Rotkiewicz. I just had the chocolate on camera, which was so unprofessional, but it's my show. I've been doing it forever, so I can do what I want, right?
Because you rock, that's why.
I have the freedom to rock. I have the freedom to host. And Tracy, it's lovely having you here on Visual Radio at the New England Record Expo's original thing that I've been coming to for 32 years, and I still can't tell you the title of it. And I'm the guy that does the publicity and the blog for it. But I can't remember the title. The original New England Compact Disc and Record Expo, sponsored by Randolph Music. Bert and Sheila, thank you. It's so cool you came here.
Very, very great. I want to mention about the cover. This was a design of my own, because everybody said keep it simple, and I advise that for any and all authors if you're going to come up with your own cover. Freedom to Rock is about the spiritual freedom of music, the artistic freedom, I should say. And how I came up with the pictures, if you look right here, there is a soundboard, and that is the beginning of the process of recording for anything and everything before the tour. This is the absolute first, so that's why I call it the. I know some people might be picky as to why I say the instead of just Freedom to Rock, but it's absolute. That's the meaning of it. So that's the beginning, freedom in this case, because it follows a guitar player there is a lovely emerald green Stratocaster, which is used in the story. So that's freedom, the artistic freedom. 2, it's a record player, if you can see it, and that's to do what you want to do with it, how you play it. So that's the source. So it's 2. And rock is the obligatory rock performance, which is concert. So everything has a meaning to it. Yeah, it's a little black book, but it's my life's blood in here, and just come on, pick it up if you're about music. It'll shock you. I'll say that much.
Oh, that was a delicious chocolate guitar that I had on camera, which I never do, but the audience will allow me one, and it gave you a chance to talk. I didn't interrupt, see? She's a very clever woman. Thank you so much, and if you could just conclude our show by saying this is T.L. Rotkiewicz on Visual Radio, we would appreciate it.
This is T.L. Rotkiewicz on Visual Radio.
Good luck with the book, and thank you. I think I was probably one of the first critics to get it, right?
Oh yeah, you're
awesome.
I thank you very, very much.
I thank you for sending it to me. And you know, I read my books on the treadmill at night, so she gives me chocolate back to the treadmill.
And I gave you a pick too.
You did give me a pick. Thank you. I have my Freedom to Rock pick right here, and she gave me CDs. She's just really a wonderful person to be so generous. You should experience the Freedom to Rock. It's a lot of fun. What's the website?
It's rocklyn.com, ROCKLYNN.com.
Rocklyn Press, rocklyn.com for the Freedom to Rock. You can learn about the book, and it's probably in libraries and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's Visual Radio. Don't mind me, there's records everywhere, and I've just got the rock and roll vibe all around me today. Tracy, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.